So social media has sort of seized, if you will, like the public conversation. If we are going to solve this problem, we need to get upstream, and we've got to figure out how to get these companies to do the right thing. Again, like you said, it's kind of out of fashion these days for them to be policing. But look, I don't think it's cancel culture, not the platform Nazis. I don't think it's cancel culture, not the platform jihadists. So we would hope that they will do better in the future. And we've got a whole robust sort of advocacy agenda, like pushing and pushing and pushing.
ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt openly admitted that there is an ongoing effort to manipulate social media and even use AI companies to censor speech that he considers anti-Semitic, which often includes valid criticism of the Israeli government. And an explosive new report from the Israeli paper Haaretz just revealed that Israel is pouring millions of dollars into a campaign to help him do just that, while influencing Americans, particularly American Christians, through AI chatbots. Before we dive into it, Cenk, your 2 cents.
Yeah, the way they're openly saying we're going to control all the platforms is amazing. I thought that was a trope, but he's saying it. Then he says we're going to go grab ChatGPT and the others, and we're going to make sure that it's pro-Israel because the facts are inconvenient. But wait till you see what they've decided to do in targeting Christians in America.
It's insane.
Unbelievable.
So here's what the investigation by Haaretz found. The Israeli government has signed contracts worth millions of dollars in recent months to rehabilitate Israel's standing in American public opinion, both online and offline. It turns out that live streamed 2-year genocide in Gaza didn't really bode well for the Israeli public relations. Amid a sharp drop in support from the conservative right, Israel has hired firms to conduct not just Hasbara public diplomacy campaigns, but also campaigns targeting millions of Christian churchgoers, bot networks to amplify pro-Israel messages online, and efforts to influence both search results and the responses given by popular AI services like ChatGPT. In fact, I noticed this already deployed as I was searching for certain videos to produce today's show. It is just really disgusting, the type of censorship that's taking place right now. Now, the experts Israel has recruited include many firms linked to the Republican Party and even evangelical communities, indicating that Israel is focusing massive efforts on communities once considered automatically pro-Israel. But here's the thing, if you happen to be a Christian, an evangelical even, you might start really questioning US support for Israel as you see all those children slaughtered, or Palestinian parents picking up their children's body parts in Gaza and putting them in plastic bags, or all those kids who lost limbs as a result of US bombs being dropped all over Gaza over a 2-year period by the Israeli government. Again, these individuals who used to support Israel no matter what are like starting to question it, and that's why Israel's kind of panicking here. Now, the largest of the new contracts was signed with a firm called Clock Tower X back in August. So the firm is owned by Trump's former campaign manager, Brad Parscale, and the $6 million 4-month contract calls for strategic consulting, planning, and communication services to develop and execute a broad US campaign to combat anti-Semitism. Again, the use of the word anti-Semitism is meant to essentially replace or substitute what they're really trying to censor here, which is criticism of the Israeli government and what they've been carrying out, certainly over the past 2 years, but if you're really informed, what they've been carrying out over the last several decades. And according to the filing, Parscale's company will produce at least 100 core pieces of content per month, including videos, audio, podcasts, graphics, and texts, and 5,000 derivative versions monthly, aiming for 50 million impressions a month. 80% of that content will actually target young Americans on social media platforms such as TikTok, which was of course partly purchased by billionaire Zionist Larry Ellison, Instagram and YouTube. And the pro-Israel propaganda will be distributed through Salem Media Network, which is a conservative Christian media group that owns more than 200 radio stations and websites. Now, another campaign was proposed by Show Faith by Works, which is owned by Republican consultant and evangelical operative Chad Schintinger. And the campaign's budget exceeds $3 million. Filings submitted in September describe a focus on churches and Christian organizations in the Western United States aimed at countering declining support for Israel among evangelical Christians and raising awareness of Palestinian ties to Hamas and support for terrorism. So I'm gonna pause right there, Cenk.
Yeah.
Candace Owens, I believe it was last year, had a sit-down interview with Theo Vaughn, and she said something that really meant a lot to me because it showed me that she's actually really reconsidering things and thinking about things. She said, oh my God, I realized like I've been brainwashed to hate Muslims, basically.
Yeah, it was very powerful. Actually.
It was very powerful. And here you have an admission that there is a paid propaganda campaign to specifically link Palestinian civilians to terrorism, all of them. They're all terrorists. They're links to Hamas. It's gross. These goals will be pursued through biblically based arguments highlighting the importance of Israel and the Jewish people to Christians while spreading messages that the Palestinians chose Hamas. They murder Christian aid workers. They celebrated the October 7th massacre and shelter terrorists. Palestinians and Iran share genocidal intentions toward Israel and more.
Yeah, so there's this group called Havas. They're a normal advertising PR company out of Germany. So they've gotten a $100 million contract throughout the years from the government of Israel. And some of it is for actual tourism, we hear. But a lot of it is disguised as tourism and disguised as fighting anti-Semitism, but it's just really propaganda campaign to make sure that the West and America continue to support Israel, including sending them billions of dollars. So if you say $100 million is a giant campaign, right? And there's all these different campaigns, including the $3 million one that Anna mentioned. There's a $45 million they spend in advertising on Google, YouTube, and other platforms. So there's a lot of money. But remember, every year they get back $4 billion from American taxpayers. So all the money that they're giving through AIPAC, through all these different operations is a drop in the bucket for just 1 year's worth of money that America gives to Israel. But during the genocide, they collected $30 billion from us because they're like, we're not done murdering Palestinians. You need to send more money so we can kill more of them and take 53% of Gaza. Oh, look, that's what they did. That's exactly what they did. So now, when you get into the contours of the money, there's amazing things here. So they also gave $6 million to Brad Pascal.
Yes, I mentioned that, yep.
Yep, and so that one, as Anna pointed out, has 100 pieces of content, and they try to get, it's 6 million for just 4 months. And their job is to get 50 million impressions online to try to trick you guys with their propaganda. Oh, Israel's lovely, etc. And they've hired the Trump team so that it'll seem like, oh, we are on the right, we are big right wingers. But they also hired SKDK, that is the top Democratic PR firm in Washington, to flood the zone with bots, which they admitted, right? And gave them a $600,000 contract for that to start with. Once SKDK was caught, they were like, okay, we're not gonna register as a foreign agent, we're giving the money back, okay? So, because they got caught. Now, to me though, the two things that Anna read you right there are amazing because for the Christians, they say, use the biblically based arguments highlighting the importance of Israel and the Jewish people to Christians. So if you're a Christian, Israel's super important to you. Now that is a hell of a piece of propaganda, isn't it?
It sure is.
Right? But to me, the second half of that was even worse. Because what they're saying is, tell them, spread the message that Palestinians chose Hamas and they murder Christian aid workers. So that is direct, bigoted, hateful propaganda that is like, now forget it's Palestinians, it's racist. It's literally saying, we're gonna pay you to be racist against Palestinians. Now I want you to imagine if the shoe was on the other foot and you found out that Hamas or Qatar, which is not terrorist at all. They're in fact an ally with the largest US military base in the Middle East.
We're telling the truth about Israel slaughtering Christian humanitarian aid workers in Gaza. How many people did they kill in Gaza that were humanitarian aid workers? I don't know what percentage of them were Christian, but they were doing that.
And they killed Christians. They bombed a church in Gaza. We know all that.
The only church in Gaza.
Yeah, and so that's one thing, to tell the truth. But imagine if they then did a propaganda campaign where they said, tell everyone that the Jews are murdering the Christians.
Okay, that would be disgusting.
Right, it would. And everyone would flip out, right? But here, Israel is telling influencers and pastors and different people, tell the American Christians that the Palestinians are murdering Christians. And no one says anything. This is from the Israeli press. The American press hasn't covered this at all. And they're like, oh, deeply racist, purposely trying to rile up hatred so that people will hate the Palestinians, will hate Muslims. Oh, as long as Israel's doing it, that's great. If you object to it though, you're an anti-Semite. So they're as hateful, bigot, racist as you could imagine. This is the government of Israel trying to trick Christians, let alone until you get to the geo-targeting. Let's do that.
By the way, an estimated audience for this project, 8 million churchgoers and 4 million Christian students.
They're literally targeting you guys. They're saying we're going to manipulate Christians in America so they'll hate Arabs and Muslims, they'll love Israel, and continue to finance us no matter what we do.
And also, they have signed a contract with SKDK Knickerbocker, which has ties to the Democratic Party. So this isn't just a Republican Party thing. Under the contract, the firm will develop a bot-based program on various social media channels that floods the zone with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs pro-Israel message. All right, so let's move on to the AI chatbots. If you guys have been paying close attention to all the social media manipulation that Israel has engaged in, you might have noticed that Grok, which is the AI bot on X, had to be taken offline, had to go to re-education camp, and then came back and suddenly forgot all the war crimes that the Israeli government engaged in. Well, a central pillar of Israel's campaign in its attempt to influence popular AI is to influence popular AI chatbots. So they've described AI as a core tool in their Hasbara efforts. Concerns about tools like ChatGPT is something Jonathan Greenblatt also hit on during a recent appearance on the Mideast Horizons podcast. Let's take a quick look at that.
I think it's a problem when common knowledge is exploded and when there's no shared understanding of what like ground truth is. For a lot of our young people, ground truth is, ChatGPT, which itself is drawing information to its large language model from like Wikipedia and Al Jazeera. Like that is really troubling. If we are going to solve this problem, we need to get upstream and we've got to figure out how to get these companies to do the right thing.
And when he says do the right thing, he means manipulate the chat AI, or the chatbots, the AI to push out pro-Israel messaging. And lucky for Greenblatt, Israel is already on the move in their manipulation campaign. One clause in the Clock Tower X contract reveals a search and language operation designed not only to promote Israel's campaign on Google and other search engines, but also to generate framing outcomes in GPT conversations and AI-based dialogue systems. This is a shift from search engine optimization, SEO, aimed at promoting pro-Israel websites in search results to chatbot-focused efforts aimed at how answers about Israel and Palestine are framed. And according to Haaretz, this is likely the first publicly documented case of a state, of a government, a foreign government, trying to shape discourse through generative AI systems like ChatGPT. Ironically, some of Israel's attempts to manipulate AI have backfired. Earlier this year, a state-backed effort to develop an AI-based Hasbara bot malfunctioned and actually ended up producing anti-Semitic and anti-Israel content.
By the way, I didn't see it, but they're like, it malfunctioned, it gave the truth about Israel. So they're like, no, you got to go back in and fix it. So it lies and says Israel's the victim, even though they're attacking all of their neighbors and killing them at record rates.
You know, Israel could try maybe not slaughtering innocent people and not engaging in land theft and not dragging the United States into wars on its behalf. I think that would actually work out way better for Israel in their PR move here. But
yeah, last things here. They call all this perception operations.
Right.
So your perception is being operated on, okay? So they're going to try to control your perception and make sure that you don't see what's true. They're gonna infiltrate the companies. Again, I'm not saying it, Jonathan Greenblatt's saying it. TikTok's already gone. They're gonna infiltrate, and they've already infiltrated a bunch. We showed you Meta's person in charge of hate, and she said anyone who's opposing Israel basically is gonna be called hateful and kicked out, etc. And now they're gonna get into ChatGPT. I've noticed Grok has actually gotten a little bit more pro-Israel.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, it got reprogrammed.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I used to love Grok.
Re-education camp.
Okay, that's amazing. Because do you need perception operations if you're doing the right thing? Probably not. Last thing, guys, because I mentioned it. So this is also physical. When you're going to church, the 8 million people that are going to church that Anna talked about earlier. So I want to read you this. The project will use, this is according to Haaretz, an Israeli publication, not American. The project will use the largest geofencing campaign in US history, mapping the physical perimeters of every major church and Christian college, identifying attendees, tracking them and targeting them. The estimated audience, 8 million churchgoers and 4 million Christian students.
Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, they're coming.
Yeah, they're literally paying money to track you when you go to church, then find out what you're watching online, and then do their perception operations on you because their target has been acquired. It's Christians in America. It's time to brainwash you a little bit more so you send more money to Israel and let them commit any genocide, kill anyone, invade and attack anyone, take any land, because they are our special ally. There's a Judeo-Christian heritage. That means you owe Israel no matter what. So that Hasbara headed straight in your direction. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.